All right, my next guest came to the U.S. as a child refugee after her and her family fled the escalating anti-Semitism in Iran. This was during the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Former State Department Deputy Special Envoy during the first Trump administration, Ellie Cohanim joins me now. Ellie, what's your reaction to the death of the Ayatollah?
Stuart, it's so good to be with you. And I can tell you that I and Iranians around the world and inside Iran are celebrating the death of the former Ayatollah Supreme Leader Khamenei. Stuart, it was a game changer for Iranians because this man was the person who single-handedly chose to kill 36,000 protesters in this latest protest movement. But we're talking about a regime that has a 47-year history of oppression, repression, cruelty, human rights abuses that are unfathomable. The greatest victims of this regime have been the Iranian people, Stuart. And that's why I'm convinced they're also going to be the best partners to the United States when the time comes, as President Trump has called upon them to take back their government.
Now, Ellie, we're looking at video from Najaf in Iraq, which has some Khomeini supporters marching. And we have the report in the New York Times that the next leader of Iran is going to be another Khomeini. How do you feel about another Khomeini leading Iran?
Stuart, what it shows me is the intransigence of this regime. They are indeed talking about Khamenei, Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of this eliminated quote-unquote supreme leader, to take his position. And so, Stuart, we need to understand from this that the regime, these mullahs, they still are not reading the room right. They are not understanding the United States is not going to tolerate their theological radical extremism. And so we certainly need to support the Trump administration to finish the job, to break the will of this regime so that they come to the United States and say, we give up, wave that white flag to the United States, and they must be defeated. This ideology must be defeated so that, in fact, we can finally have stabilization in the Middle East and even at our own doorstep.
Yep. New York City's Mayor Zohran Mandani was asked a simple question yesterday. Watch this.
Mr. Mayor, do you think Iran is better off without the Ayatollah?
You know, I've said before that the Iranian government has engaged in systematic repression of its own people, even killing thousands of Iranians who were seeking to express the most basic forms of dissent earlier this year. It is a brutal government. And I've also said that while I may be a young mayor, I am old enough to remember the devastating consequences of our country pursuing a war with the intent of regime change.
Ellie, that's all he's got. He can't say, yeah, Iran's better off without a bunch of thugs running the place. He can't say it, can he?
He can't. And Mandani has shown us he's got no moral compass. This is the same guy who couldn't condemn Hamas, even though he was asked over and over again on the campaign trail. Stuart, I need to say that Mandani thinks that he's in some other position, but he's the mayor of New York City. A few weeks ago, there was a big snowstorm in New York. It took him weeks to try to plow New York out of it. Under his mayorship so far, there's been a spike in crime. There's been a spike in attacks on NYPD, and there's been a spike in anti-Semitic incidents. So Mandani would be well advised to stop the theatrics and focus on being the mayor of New York City.
One more for
Run
you.
the city.
Yeah, please. One more for you, Ellie. The State Department is urging Americans in 14 Middle Eastern countries leave as soon as possible. Here's what Secretary Rubio had to say.
9,000 Americans have been able to leave the region since the start of this war. We have about 1,500 Americans that are requesting assistance with departure. We have identified and continue to identify charter flights, military flight options, and expanded commercial flight options, meaning working with the airlines to send bigger airplanes with more seats.
Ellie, you worked at the State Department. This cannot be easy to get large numbers of people out of a war zone. How do they actually do it?
Well, you're right, Stuart. And when I was in the State Department, that's when COVID hit. And I would say we might be in a similar circumstance. And what Secretary Rubio has done, and I commend him for it, is he's kind of created a task force within state, which is a huge operation. He's putting a lot of resources in trying to rescue Americans. We do need to give them a little bit of patience of time because the Middle East is also a very big region. And as we know, and as our viewers know, the Iranians are being very indiscriminate in their attacks. They have now attacked every single one of their neighbors, including Oman, which was an interlocutor for them. And earlier this morning, I heard about an attack on a NATO country, Turkey. So it's very difficult circumstances for flights out of the region. We need to have a little bit of patience. But I, again, commend Secretary Rubio and his team for everything I know they're doing. They're working very hard for the safety and security of Americans.
And for Americans in the Middle East, call 202-501-4444 or visit travel.state.gov for more information on your screen now. Ellie, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. I'll see you again soon.